Welcome to the wonderful world of astronomy. This is chapter 3, the science of astronomy. And in this part 4 video, we're going to look at the philosophy of science. So far, we've looked at the history of astronomy, looking at the ancient roots of astronomy, and we saw in the part 3 video how the astronomers of the Renaissance, how they transformed astronomy by challenging the old ancient Greek philosophies and bringing in new philosophies that helped to shape not just astronomy, but science as well. So now as we close chapter 3, we're going to look at the philosophy of science. We're going to explore what exactly is science, what are its limitations, what is it capable of doing and not capable of doing. The scientific revolution in the previous video, I referred to it as the Copernican revolution, and that more has to do with an astronomy, thinking about the role and the place of the Earth in the universe as a whole. But the scientific revolution was a bigger thing going on that transformed all of science. So modern science is based on the premise that there is order in the universe. Now, that is a premise, meaning it is a beginning point of belief. There is faith in that premise that there is order in the universe. And from that, there is faith that we can discover that order by observation, and we can make predictions about how the universe will behave in the future. Now, while all this underlies modern science, these were some new concepts back during the Renaissance, that we can actually discover the universe by observation. Foundational to the premise of order in the universe was this. Folks like Kepler and Galileo and Copernicus believed that there's a personal creator or God who has made the universe and has given it order, and that he has given man the ability to discover that order. So their aim was to discover the order based on the assumption that there was a creator who created order. And often in many of their writings, the cosmos or the universe was described as a clock, and it's crafted and wound by a divine clockmaker. Johann Kepler, who wrote the 3 laws of planetary motion, he said the chief aim of all investigations of the external world should be to discover the rational order and harmony imposed on it by God. So for him, the goal of science wasn't to create new things or to make life better. It was to discover the order and harmony imposed on it by God. It was to bring glory to God. Copernicus, I mentioned in a previous video that astronomy was only a hobby of his. His whole aim in studying astronomy was to bring glory to God, to learn about what God had made. As we think about philosophy of science, in ancient Greek astronomy, as we looked at in a previous video, the philosophy underlying it was geocentric, so that the Earth was at the center of the universe, and that everything in the heavens was either perfectly circular or perfectly spherical. So the motions of the planets in the sky around the Earth were circular. And this is what governed Aristotle's model of the universe. This is what governed Ptolemy's model of the universe as well. But then during the Renaissance, there was the scientific revolution, and the philosophies changed. They said it's no longer true, believing that the Earth is at the center, and there's no need to invoke that things move in perfect circles. So the philosophy underlying the scientific revolution was that the Creator has made order in the universe, and that the universe can be discovered by mortal men. Now, one example of philosophy of science today, there is Darwinian evolutionary theory. It's taught in most of the schools, and it's taught as fact, just like the geocentric universe was taught as fact for many centuries. But you have to understand, it is based on a certain worldview. It is based on the naturalistic worldview, which is a philosophy. So naturalism is a belief that the cosmos is a closed system of cause and effect, meaning whatever happens in the universe only is caused by things in the universe. In this belief, there is nothing beyond nature, and there is nothing supernatural. So in this worldview, Darwinian evolution is a part of that. Now you contrast that with a competing philosophy, which is intelligent design, which says that the order and complexity observed in nature is best explained by an intelligent creator. Now, these are two competing models, and it's not a situation where I think one will easily disprove the other, but rather they are based on different worldviews. So if you believe the naturalistic worldview that there is nothing outside the universe, and you are looking for evidence that supports Darwinian evolution, you will find it. The evidence there is pretty good. However, if you believe that maybe there is stuff outside of the universe, that there can be causes outside of the universe, then that might support the idea of intelligent design. So these are two different models that people will look at, thinking about how life got to be the way it is, and in fact, how the universe got to be the way it is, and it's based on these different worldviews. Another issue in philosophy of science is the idea of uniformity of nature. Now, this isn't as controversial as thinking about Darwinian evolution and intelligent design. Uniformity of nature. The question is, do the physical laws of nature, as we discover them, actually apply throughout the universe? So we have different laws. In chapter 4, we'll look at Newton's laws of motion. We've seen Kepler's laws of planetary motion. And the question is, does this apply, these mathematical models, does it apply throughout the universe? And pretty much all of science, certainly astrophysics, is based on that the answer is yes, they apply throughout the universe. And I put exclamation marks there because scientists are most wholly in agreement that yes, the laws of nature apply throughout the universe, the laws as we have discovered them. But then you ask the question, why? Why should they apply throughout the universe? Or how do we know that they apply throughout the universe? And there is no good answer to that question. We think that they should apply. We have no reason to think that they shouldn't. But then when you get down to it, if you're asking for proof, evidence, or why we think they should apply, it's hard to answer that question. So it is a matter of faith. We believe, and basically all of our thinking about astrophysics throughout the universe, and we think about galactic motions and the structure of the universe, relies on the assumption that the physical laws throughout the universe are constant. There is a great misconception in society that there is this fight, this battle between faith and science. Some people say, well, you have faith, I believe in science. And most people say that don't even really have a clue what science is. It's important to understand faith and science are not mutually exclusive. They actually go hand in hand. As I've shown already, all science is based on faith and presuppositions, faith that certain principles apply. So many people in society think that science is just simply the facts. It's the facts that smart people come up with. I believe in the science, they say. But really, science is just trying to obtain knowledge about the universe, about the world around us, but it's based on presuppositions about how we obtain and interpret knowledge. It's all based on faith. The founders of the scientific revolution during the Renaissance, as well as many scientists today, including myself, have and had a deep faith in God. And it reminds me of Psalm 19, verse 1, that starts, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." So many astronomers, and I think of Copernicus, I think of Galileo and Kepler, and myself, see this as an invitation to look out into the heavens, to explore astronomy, and see what God has created. So as we close this chapter, we ask the question, what is science? Well, science is from the Latin word scientia, meaning knowledge, so it has to do with knowledge. It's important to understand, though, that not all knowledge comes from science. Knowledge about the physical universe and processes, physical processes in the universe, they are what science deals with. But there's a lot of knowledge that has nothing to do with what science is about. For example, someone might say, I believe there is an afterlife. And someone might counter, can you prove that there is an afterlife scientifically? Well, no, you can't, because it is, when you talk about an afterlife, you're talking about things of the supernatural. You're talking about things outside of the universe. You're not talking about physical processes within this universe. So it isn't an insult to sit to the idea of is there an afterlife to say it can't be proven scientifically. That's not what science is equipped to handle. You could say, I believe that my children or my family or whoever, that they love me. And someone could counter, and it sounds kind of dumb, but to say, can you prove that they do scientifically? Well, no, because I don't care to. I can see by their actions, by their words that they love me, but this has nothing to do with what science is equipped to do, which is to observe the physical universe, physical processes, and to try to make predictions about what will happen physically in the future. So not all knowledge can be obtained by science. Science is not the answer to everything. Science is man's attempt to discover order in the universe. In doing so, we observe the universe, and that can be from observation, from experimentation, and then based on what we observe usually occurs, we draw conclusions about what will usually occur in the future. And that is it for the philosophy of science. That's it for chapter 3 on the science of astronomy. And in the next few chapters, we will look more intently at the foundations of science, looking at chemistry and physics that are necessary to understand astronomy. Have a great day.